Hey everybody, it's the OMAD Dad. Welcome back to my YouTube channel, the channel that is dedicated to living the OMAD lifestyle or eating just one meal a day. Well, you've decided to lose some weight or get your health in order, and you've decided that that also means that you're going to start cooking some more of your own food and shopping for your ingredients and maybe cleaning up your diet a little bit. Again, kudos to you. I'm glad you're doing that. Great to hear it. I hope your plan is OMAD. I hope your plan is some form of time-restricted eating or includes it. If not, if you're doing something else and you've come to this video, either way, the fact that you're taking the reins of your health and you're trying to control your eating habits and getting your health in order, kudos to you. I definitely give you a pat on the back for that. But one thing I found, and other people who have written me have found, is that there's a pretty confusing world out there when it comes to some food terms that are being thrown around as a means to market food to you and to sell it to you for a more expensive price than what it may really be worth. I've found a ton of these different food terms. I've picked 7 of my most, I think, the most annoying and just the ones that just I hate seeing all of the time. So I wanted to dispel some of the myths around there today about some of these useless food terms and how most big food companies are spending lots of marketing dollars to trying to trap you into paying more money for something that you're not really, that you think you're getting, but you're really not getting. So I'm going to dive right into this today. Number one, one of the most useless food terms out there, grass-fed. Well, mostly grass-fed, it refers to beef, but grass-fed has got to be one of the most useless terms. And you're probably thinking, well, I've heard that grass-fed beef is supposed to be exponentially better for you and higher in omega-3s as opposed to omega-6s. And yes, that is all correct. But you should know that every cattle at some point in its life has been fed grass or hay. So technically, they can call pretty much anything grass-fed. What you're really looking for is 100% grass-fed and finished. That means that that cattle has been raised solely on a grass-fed diet for its entire life, other than from when it was, it's on mother's milk at some point. But that is what you're looking for. If you're buying beef and you think you're getting grass-fed beef and it just says grass-fed beef on it, if it fed the cattle grass for maybe about a week, technically it could call it that it's grass-fed beef. And I'll tell you this, it means that quite a difference financially. I mean, grass-fed beef is definitely more expensive than your conventionally raised beef that's usually fed a bunch of corn and soy and a mixture of a whole bunch of different things, maybe some grass thrown in there as well. And that kind of fattens them up a little bit quicker and they get more marbling in the meat. It becomes a little bit more tender and some people say it's got more flavor. I, for one, happen to love the flavor of grass-fed beef. But again, it is a little bit more pricey. But what you're looking for, you need it to say 100% grass-fed and finished. That means that it has been given that its whole life. Sometimes what cattle producers will do too is they will feed it only grass until maybe, let's say, the last couple of months of its life before it goes out to slaughter, and then they'll start feeding it, the corn and the different soy and all of these other different meal, ground up meals and like corn meals and things like that, just to kind of fatten them up a little bit, give them a little bit more fat before they go out, and they could still call it grass-fed. So again, that then becomes a useless food term. Number 2, healthy snacks. I see this all over the place when you go to a grocery store. Oh, have a healthy snack. As you've seen hopefully in my video on snacking, there is no such thing as a healthy snack. There are some foods that are generally healthier than others, but snacking in and of itself is not healthy at all. This constant eating all of the time and pushing your pancreas to make more insulin to deal with all of the food that's going into your system. It doesn't matter if it's a keto snack, if it's a vegan snack, whatever it is, you want to. Hopefully you've been watching the videos on this channel and you're on some sort of OMAD plan, and you will see the amazing power of having what you want to eat in one lump meal, sitting down, enjoying your meal, and then walking away. And it's amazing. You really don't have to, exclude large food groups. You can choose to eat what you want. And you may even want, as I often do, you may want to include some of these snack food items into some of your meals. Sometimes if I'm really craving popcorn, maybe that'll be little something that I have as like a dessert for that day. I've mentioned this in another video, but you can get creative with it. But obviously, I'm not making my OMAD solely out of junk food, and some days, yes, I do have a more of a processed fast food meal or a meal at a restaurant, but those days are far and few between, and I tend to focus mostly on more homemade, simple meals at home. But the healthy snacks, it's a bunch of BS. Snacking will definitely make you fat. And it's now it's such this huge subculture in America to be snacking all the time, even when we're driving or watching TV, and it just has to go. And I'll tell you one more thing quickly about that. One thing I've noticed is that on this long journey is when I first started, I had a really tough time, particularly at night, say like around 8 to 10 o'clock at night. Because when I was not on OMAD, when I was not watching my weight and I was ballooning up, my wife and I used to sit down and watch television, and we would often have a snack. Sometimes it would be maybe a quesadilla or something like that, and other times it might just be a little bit of popcorn or whatever. And it's like for the first couple of weeks on OMAD, I would get triggered, particularly when I was sitting in front of television, or if around 8 or 10, between 8 and 10 o'clock at night when we were, laying down, just kind of watching TV, unwinding for the night, because that I was so used to, and I had trained myself to, almost like Pavlov's dog, to always expect having that snack when I'm watching TV, that it's like whenever you relate that experience to it in a similar way. So whenever a television set comes on, that's why a lot of times you'll see people sitting down and eating. It trains your mind. It's like ringing the bell, and you're Pavlov's dog. Every time that you hear that bell ring, you just start to salivate. So that's why it's very important when you're eating your meals to sit down, have no distractions, just sit and eat, so that okay, when I sit at this table, my food is here, I'm ready to eat. I get down to the business of refueling for the day, and then you walk away and you're done. So I think that's enough of my diatribe on healthy snacks, but I hope you get what I'm saying there. Number 3, vegetarian fed chicken. All this really means is that they've fed the chicken corn and soy and a bunch of different, grain meal sort of thing, just a junk. Chickens, if they were out in the wild, are really kind of pickers. They eat a lot of bugs and grass and different things like that. They really don't go out and eat soybeans and corn by the bucketful every single day. They will if it's available, but they really, and you could look this up, they eat corn and bugs. So when they say, oh, we fed it a vegetarian diet, I mean, great. I guess you're not feeding it other chopped up animals that it normally wouldn't eat just to make it fatter, but you're still giving it an unnatural diet. So again, these marketing companies will tell you that the fact that we feed it a vegetarian diet, that it's somehow exponentially healthier for you, or that that's just the way it's supposed to be, and you end up paying a premium for this. I've definitely checked this out on packages that don't say it has a vegetarian fed diet. You compare boneless, skinless chicken breast, for example. Go ahead and look at the store, and it tells you one that's more natural, and it's fed a vegetarian diet versus the just a regular no name brand chicken breast, and it doesn't really have anything on there. You will see a huge difference in the price for nothing. So that's something to consider too. 5, farm to table. This is just ridiculous. Like everybody is just praising the farm to table movement. I had to laugh at this when I heard this. It's like, where the hell do you think our food comes from? Do you think it just falls from the sky, from some sort of magic creator sprinkling pixie dust on it? I don't know. It's our farms raise our food, and farm to table could definitely include factory farm. What they're trying to market to you is this small, very locally produced, very exclusive thing. Again, it gives you this sort of snobbery to it, so that they can charge you a couple bucks a pound more. I've noticed this sometimes when I go to my local farmers market. I mentioned in another video that I could go to like a chain store like Aldi's, for example, and pay $1.25. That's right, $1.25 for a dozen eggs that are shipped from hundreds of miles away, maybe even thousands. And yet I go to my local farmers market, and the guy the next town over from me has all natural raised chicken, and it's the same eggs, that they sell for $6 a dozen. Again, $6 a dozen for the eggs. I could still make plenty of meals out of that. It's still somewhat of a bargain compared to other proteins out there, but it's amazing the price difference. And the main thing is that I don't want to scare people away and say, oh no, you need to only eat organic and only eat grass-fed and only do this. A lot of the other diets, especially paleo, is really big on that. And some people, yes, they have food sensitivities to the point where they have to seek out these products. But for those that don't, you have to make the choice of whether paying the extra money for that is worth it or worthwhile for it. And I don't want anybody thinking that they should avoid cooking or doing anything for themselves, making their own food or taking the reins of their own diet because they don't want to feel like they've lost the race because they can't afford to go and buy the ultra organic or the ultra special meat that you're in produce that you see around. So this is farm to table. When you see that, it's just expect to pay another couple bucks more a pound, and that's it. Number 6, hormone free. You see this a lot on pork and chicken. It's actually a law in America, at least, that chicken and pork can't be raised with any sort of hormones, or antibiotics is another one too. So, when you see this, they're just telling you basically nothing, and you think, oh wow, okay, yeah, that's worth me paying an extra couple bucks. That's just how it is. And the sad thing is that most of our milk in this country does contain, they call it RBGH, it's this bovine growth hormone, and they claim that studies have found that there's no real significant difference between putting it in there and not putting it in there. You have to make the choice as to whether or not you want that chemical in or not. I can tell you this, they do sell in my local grocery store, what they call it, I think Hudson Valley is the name of the company, I'm not really sure, but they call it grass milk. It's cow's milk, but it comes from milk from 100% grass-fed cows, no growth hormones, no nothing, and it's about $6 for a half a gallon versus the $2.50 I pay for a full gallon of just conventional milk. So you have to make that choice. If you're one of those households that rarely drinks milk or rarely uses it, yeah, sure, buy the grass-fed milk, buy the ultra special one. We have some kiddos where I am. I have a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, so we go through a lot of milk. I don't drink this stuff personally. I never liked it, but they go through a lot of milk, and once they're weaned off, then we won't really go through it that much. But I tried getting that stuff for a while, the ultra premium stuff, and with the amount of milk that we would go through, it got ridiculously expensive. And did they have some sort of super health? No, not really. You kind of have to make that decision for yourself. But that's my diatribe on hormone free. And number 7, organic. Again, this just feeds into some more of the snobbery. People think that I'm going to become Superman if I only eat organic foods. Yes, they are slightly raised and prepared in a certain way, and they are a little bit better, but I think if you got down to the brass tacks of everything, as far as it being exponentially healthier than the other to cover the massive price difference between the two, I don't really think it's really worth the money to just buy organic. But again, there are a lot of people, and you'll see this a lot if you go into any sort of social media group, like especially these health groups on Facebook. You'll see people say things like, oh, I only eat organic. It's like saying I only drive Mercedes-Benz, or they'll say, well, you can't be healthy unless you eat organic. And that's simply not true. There are people out there who are eating a conventional diet, some of which, there are some people out there that seem to not follow the rules. Some of them drink, some of them even smoke. Some of them don't go to the gym every single day. They eat what they want, and yet they still manage to live to 100 years old. So, you have to take it with a grain of salt, a lot of this advice that's out there. But don't feel like you can't get on this health train unless you're fully into buying everything absolutely organic. There's a lot of BS and a lot of propaganda out there. But that's it for me for today. Those are my list of 7 what I call useless food terms. Those are my most hated ones. If I've missed any, or if you have one that you feel that I should know about, send me an email or write it in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear from you. I do have to say, before I go today and sign off today, I've been meaning to say this for probably the last 7 posts, and every time I go to sign off, I go, oh man, I forgot to mention it. I am planning on having a live broadcast. My goal is to have it right around the time when I hit about 1,000 subscribers, and right now I'm at like 950. I'm not trying to fish for new subscribers or anything like that, but I just think it would be cool to hit the fact that I hit 1,000 subscribers, just to kind of have some way of like celebrating for that. Because I mean, a year and a half ago, this was just an idea in my head. I had success on OMAD, and I wanted to share the good news with everybody. And now I have 1,000 subscribers. Or nearly 1,000 subscribers, and it's absolutely amazing. I hear from so many people every single day, and they have changed their life. They've turned their health around by making just a couple simple, easy choices. And it's definitely worth saying something about and getting a message out there for it. So my goal is, when I hit around 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to plan on having a live broadcast here on YouTube, and there'll be a great chance for us to meet everybody and meet one another and say hello. Tell me your stories. I want to hear any questions that you guys have. I'll probably come with a prepared topic, and I'll give a little talk for a couple minutes, and then I'll go right into any questions you might have or any comments addressing any issues. If that's something you'd like to see, definitely let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to send me an email if you have any specific questions and you don't want to bring them up in a public forum like that. But that's just a little thing that I was planning. I'm glad I got that off my chest. I've been meaning to mention that for like the past couple weeks now, and it just has slipped my mind. But I feel better. Well, that is it for me today. I hope you guys are enjoying great success. I hope you're having a really great day, a very happy OMAD, and of course, be well.